Welcome to this week's edition of the Belau Report. Our guest, Laurel Podulke-Smith, who is newly elected as a member of the Olmsted County Board of Commissioners, and we congratulate you on your victory.
Thank you so much. It's just a pleasure to be here and to see you again.
We are pleased to have you back. And before you're in the midst of the county, what is the county doing to prepare you for the kind of discussions that they're having? For example, the appropriation for the Channel 1 that came in larger than they expected. And I understand they've already set their levy, so tell us what they're doing to help you.
The county has been amazing in preparing the new commissioners to be ready to hit the ground running on January 3rd, which is when we're sworn in and when we run our first county board meeting. So we have weekly trainings and orientations. We're meeting with all the department heads, getting a more thorough understanding of all the county departments, what they do and why it's important, and really bringing us up to speed on the top county issues, legislative priorities, and this transition from the board that many of whom have been serving for 10 or 20 years to a board that has four brand newly elected county commissioners who have not held the role of county commissioner before. So the county administration, Heidi Welch in particular, has been so well organized in preparing us to be ready to run the county. And I feel like the new commissioners are in very good hands, and Olmsted County is in very good hands. The residents of Olmsted County are in very good hands with Olmsted County as an organization.
Now, are they doing this with seminars or all of the above?
All of the above. With presentations, seminars, we're encouraged to attend Association of Minnesota Counties upcoming conference. And also they've made themselves available to any questions that we have. So the day after the election, Heidi Welch, the Olmsted County Administrator, called me, and she had me come into the county for some just preliminary organizational scheduling things. So they really had us engaged from the very beginning.
Now, how many new commissioners are there?
There are four of us. Okay. So myself, Brian Mueller, Michelle Rossman, and of course, soon to be former senator, state senator, and future county commissioner, Dave Senjum. So we're the four new commissioners.
Yeah. Oh, and you're very knowledgeable people.
All very knowledgeable, and then we're very well supported by the existing commissioners, Greg Wright, who will be the chair this year, Sheila Cascaden, and Mark Tyne, the former chair, all excellent and expert, and everyone is just making sure that we're well supported and we have what we need to be as effective as possible in governing.
Now, the levy is set for the next year, and there are some increases, and what can you tell us about the budget?
Right, so, well, it wouldn't be me if I didn't have a few notes.
That's good.
So the current board recently approved a 5.9% increase in the tax levy, and the property tax levy is an amount that the county determines that it needs to run its programs and to provide the services that the state requires, and so that's a 5.9% increase, and that equals about $120 million overall, and that's about 40% of the overall county budget comes from that property tax levy that the commissioners just approved.
The current board had a request from Channel One that exceeded their usual appropriation, as I read about it. And they said the need is greater. There are lots of people who could have used the Channel One food shelf are now using it because the inflation has made the costs of food so high. What do you think that will do to this budget?
That's a great question, and that's part of the perennial challenge of local government, which is to provide services, the need for which is ever increasing, and the funds for which are often decreasing, especially in terms of state mandated services that were required by the state to provide. They often require the county to provide the services without funding them, unfunded mandates. So this is a perennial challenge. So I understand that this question is under discussion, and I trust that the current board will come to a sound decision and find a balance between the current funding amount and the increased need, which is so dramatic. And Channel One as an organization is facing the same kinds of problems that Olmsted County is facing, which is inflation, increased cost of living, soaring interest rates. So this is all a balance that Olmsted County, they need to find an amount that satisfies the need for food for our families in need, and doesn't essentially overburden or become onerous on property taxpayers. With the property, their annual property taxes.
We usually do a program before Christmas with the Salvation Army, which we will try and do again this year. But my husband was having a conversation with a friend who was ringing the bells, and they said, people don't have change this year. And the bell ringing is probably not going to provide the same amount of funds, but we'll find out. And
I think with more people paying with plastic and digitally, there is overall less cash and less coins in the exchange. So that's part of it too.
Yeah. Well, okay, you have 10 observations on the budget that you were going to address.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up the budget again. Part of what's interesting about the budget is that even though the levy amount is increasing, and it reflects as an increase in property taxes, the overall tax rate is decreasing. So that isn't it's challenging to understand. It can be challenging to understand because it looks as if property tax is increasing, which indeed it is, but the overall tax rate for the county of Olmsted is decreasing because of increased property values and new construction, which then causes more, which spreads out and causes more people to pay into the levy, decreasing the overall levy burden on the individual. So that's something else that's interesting.
If you're talking about more building of affordable housing, that won't bring the same amount, though, will it?
Right, affordable housing would be in a different category, but property values in general are increasing, and new construction in general is increasing.
Okay, all right. That's one of the observations. You have
Yeah.
9 more.
Yeah, well, we can, we could talk budget all day. Something that is connected to the budget, which is important for us to put back on our radar, are the 2022 legislative priorities, which were the expansion of Graham Park, the Highway 14 overpass, and the development of the Materials Recovery Center, the MRF out at the Waste to Energy facility. And those were the county's legislative priorities in 2022. But as we know, our state legislators failed to pass our infrastructure bonding bills, which meant that the bonding that we anticipated for those projects did not come through in 2022. And so those legislative priorities will be revisited for 2023. Bonding is the county's ability to borrow money cheap because of our AAA bond rating, to borrow money cheap for long-term infrastructure projects that residents can benefit from during their lifetime, that Olmsted County pays back over time. So those bonding-based legislative priorities are on pause and will have to be revisited for 2023. And I'm excited about all 3 of them. And in particular, the Graham Park expansion, there's so much potential there for development and expansion, and the growing of Graham Park as a true community amenity. There's the whole question of the Seneca land that I don't think is going to be decided by the current board. I think the use of the Seneca land will transfer to the incoming board, and that will be a 2023 project for us to research, study, and ultimately decide about.
Now, the park board is a city-county park board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is appointed?
I'm actually not sure.
Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
It is not elective yet. But there's talk about that.
Yeah.
And would the Graham Park be a county park or a city park or both? Or?
That's a great question. I think those are exactly the questions. Graham Park, as it is owned and operated by the county.
Yeah.
It's called Graham Park, but it's not a park in a traditional sense, the way that Chester Woods is a park and the Oxbow Park is a park. It's more of a community center,
yeah.
A community amenity, and it's urban right there in the center of town. The Seneca land, which is 8 acres of land that the county also currently owns, if that were to be turned into a green space, into an urban park, it may that may well have the designation of a county park, but there are many visions for that land. I think that those options will come before the board. I am particularly inspired by the idea of adding more green space to our city. Cities that have lots of green space and lots of parks and lots of natural amenities like that, open and available to the public, bring such great benefit.
Yeah.
It brings great benefit to families, to the environment, to our overall health, to civic pride. It's a way for for children to build memories in a beautiful space. Yeah, with the emblem, with that wonderful emblematic corn cob tower, right there in the middle of town. So it's exciting. There's a lot there, a lot of potential there, and I'm so excited to start to dive into it.
And that's also where the county fair is. And people who build memories from the county fair and the 4-H and everything. So it's got its own seasonal activities as well.
Right.
All right. That's going to take money.
True. Very true. We have a brilliant finance department at the county, and they're always looking for ways to fund new projects and to find funding that doesn't burden the taxpayer. So in the form of a savvy finance management, and in the form of grants and lobbying at the state level for funding. So just because something is new and requires money, it doesn't necessarily mean that becomes a tax burden on voters, although that's probably part of where the funding will come from.
Yeah. Is the county still growing in terms of people, individuals, like immigrants and people who are naturally drawn to the clinics here, or what?
Yeah, I just heard a presentation, and I learned that 11% of Olmsted County is immigrant, and 20% of Olmsted County are people of color. And so that is definitely increasing and a way that our community is growing and changing.
And that means a growth in services too.
That's right.
And that is recent?
Past 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we keep learning along with you. And what else in terms of the budget?
What else in terms of the budget? Well, what did I?
Is the impact of the building of affordable housing had any noticeable impact on the need for affordable housing?
Right. Housing is a really big issue. It's a big topic. And the way I've heard it explained is that in general terms, the city is focused on improving and increasing affordable workforce housing, and the county is more focused on in increasing and making available low-income housing,
Okay.
including folks who might be experiencing homelessness or on the verge of homelessness. So the county really focuses on our lowest earning population, essentially people who we might think of as our poorest people or poor families, and families experiencing crisis, our most vulnerable residents. The county is focused on finding housing for them. And there is definitely a shortage, and the county is absolutely focused on finding new ways to stabilize life for those people and to find both temporary and permanent housing for those folks.
Is the Unified Development Code, the building code, that they have been working on for all these years, going to help this issue?
Now, the Unified Development Code is a city plan, and the county operates according to a general land use plan.
Okay.
The county has a general land use plan that focuses on land outside of the city limits. So I think that would be an excellent question for a city expert or a city leader.
Yeah.
I do, but I do think that the city has potential there to waive fees for the building of affordable housing, low-income housing, and housing for permanent housing solutions for folks experiencing homelessness. So there is a connection there in terms of waiving of fees and making the building of those structures or the development of those structures just more feasible, more accessible, both for the county and for builders and developers.
Okay. Your personal priorities for the county were, when you were running, what would they be?
You know, there's still a lot of overlap there. When I was running, my top three issues, my key issues were affordable housing, public safety, and I don't know why I'm spacing out on the third one. Oh, of course, our strong social services. And those are, of course, still the top of my mind. And as I go through these orientations, as I learn more about the county, as I learn more about county departments, what they do, why it's important, and how I, as a county commissioner, can be an advocate and a support for many of these projects and initiatives, I can see that I'm actually very interested in the direction that Olmsted County is going with justice and criminal justice, with corrections, and with maintaining humane, progressive, inclusive public safety in general. So that's, you know, I just attended a presentation from last night from the sheriff, from the county attorney, from the corrections director, and from the president of the Olmsted County Justice Council. And I was pretty inspired by the work that they're doing, and I'm starting to think of ways that I can be a part of that very important work in maintaining a safe community for everyone and doing the work of justice in a way that is restorative and gives everyone a fair chance at wholeness and healing.
The Council for Justice is a county council?
It is a collaboration. The Olmsted County Justice Council is a collaboration between Olmsted County, the City of Rochester, and the state of Minnesota. It has representatives of law enforcement, corrections, and justice leaders from all three of those organizations are represented on the Justice Council.
And what is that purpose? Is it to bring justice or to look at the ways they can work together?
Now, I just learned about it yesterday, but my impression was that the purpose is to gain insight, and to be in a process of continuous improvement in the process of justice, the process of safety and community corrections as an ongoing and ever-improving process. So that was my
Okay.
impression.
We're down to our last 4 minutes, and I want you to use that time to explain what you'd like to accomplish.
What I'd like to accomplish is, first of all, to personally really understand the role of a county commissioner, and really build rapport and strong relationships with my fellow commissioners. So that will be the foundation of all the work I do as a county commissioner, is listening, learning, collaborating, negotiating, building consensus with my fellow commissioners. And that's going to be a steep learning curve, because there is a lot for all of us to learn, and I think all 4 of us new commissioners realize that.
I've been doing these interviews, and I'm always learning about something new. And
Yeah.
so I don't know how it would be to serve, but it would be a tremendous service based on your understanding of what's already in place.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been, so far it has been so fun, so interesting, a tremendous honor to have been elected and to have the trust of District 1 voters. It's that the winning with 67.4% of the vote was such an honor and such an endorsement. It gives me tremendous confidence moving forward, knowing that my community trusts me to be their voice, to represent their interests and their concerns and their ideas on the county board.
And your constituents play a big role in that, right?
They do. It was important to me to try to meet everyone in my district. So when I was running as a candidate, I visited every single house, 7,500 houses in the district, every single house in the district, because it was important to me to try to meet everyone, and I did meet hundreds and hundreds of people. So the people who voted for me very likely met me, and we had a chance to visit, and I had a chance to hear what was on their mind, and they know that I bring those voices forward, and I'll represent them on the county board.
Okay, and please tell our viewers what they can do to help you, our viewers.
What they can do to help? Well, in a practical sense, if you have questions, comments, concerns about the new tax levy, there is a Truth in Taxation meeting this Thursday at the Government Center, which is open to the public, where you can listen and learn, and you can also offer your comments and concerns to the county commissioner. So that's one thing they can do. And another thing that you can do is be, if you're interested in it, is to be more engaged in general in attending board meetings. And we've even shifted one of our monthly board meetings to be an evening board meeting, so that residents are more likely to be able to attend board meetings in person after work. We also have many volunteer opportunities for residents. If they're interested in any particular department, any particular service that we provide, there are many ways to join advisory boards and to join other work groups and task forces to contribute, to participate and to simply gain more insight in the things that you feel passionate about and that you care the most about in our community here.
All right, we'll invite you back after the first half of your first year in office and see what you have for us then. And thank you very much, Laurel Podulke-Smith. And again, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jane.
All right. Thank you, our viewers, for your interest in our city, our county, our state, our nation, and the world. We'll be with you again next week, same time, same channel. Have a very good week and a very good night.